From an early age, my younger brother was bigger than me. But my mom didn't see it that way. She would buy us the exact same clothes in the exact same size. This really only became problematic when family picture time would roll around, and there we were in matching sailboat sweaters, his too tight and mine way too big. In life, rarely does one size actually fit all. Not in sweaters my mom purchased for my brother and I, and certainly not in the world of education. Our students are individuals with different backgrounds, families, abilities, interests, and dreams. Each child is unique and needs a safe environment where they have access to a high-quality education, where they can learn and are valued for who they are. In professional meetings, we gather and discuss the necessary resources to make this goal a reality, when really, the means to make this happen already exist in our schools. We must look to our teacher leaders to be sure our schools meet the needs of all of our students. All of our students. Teacher leaders, we know them, we see them. They are the teachers peers look to for advice and for inspiration. They lead by example, challenge the status quo, and make a difference in the lives of their students and their communities. They see the big picture. Administrators must recognize that our teacher leaders are an asset and should be utilized to meet the needs of our individual students. You can see their faces now. Each of them a professional with a specific skill set all their own. What are they good at? What are they passionate about? How can they lead their colleagues supportively? These leaders must be challenged and given real responsibilities within the school to make a positive difference, because given the opportunity, they will. I was thinking about how I became a teacher leader, and it didn't happen overnight where I just woke up and said, yeah, this is who I am. It took my principal, Terry Caton, recognizing that I valued community building and could navigate conversations with humor and compassion. I grew in confidence because she saw in me something that I kept downplaying, that I was a leader. At first, I oversaw our staff's social committee, right, which evolved into the building culture committee, and then I took on managing our facilities. These responsibilities led me to take on further leadership roles in our district and our state. You know, I love the phrase, mighty oaks from tiny acorns grow. It always reminds me that the educators and students I work with have such incredible potential. Teachers will take the leap to lead when they feel trusted, respected, and challenged. And similarly, our student success starts when they feel safe, valued, and included. This is why educational leaders need to take a close look at their current building culture and environment to be sure there is a foundation of respect and empathy towards one another. Through strong communities and thoughtful relationships, educators can support the needs of their students. I am the art teacher at Liberty Tree Elementary School in Powell, Ohio, and I also oversee our building culture and environment. Last fall, we began to see some troubling behaviors within our student community. One child refused to open his beautifully packed lunch of curry because of the jeers from fellow classmates. He sat quietly with his lunchbox tightly closed and he mumbled, "I'm not hungry." Or the student who had great anxiety about using the restroom because other students would crawl under the stalls while they were in use. And these stories became painful for me to hear. I had been tasked with fostering a supportive, compassionate school culture, and my students were experiencing something quite different. Liberty Tree really began to wrestle with this reality. How can our students be academically successful if they are afraid, crippled with anxiety, or disconnected from their peers? So I went directly to my principal, Terry, and I asked her to give us an answer and a quick fix. Instead, she looked at me and said, "That does sound like a problem. How are you going to find a solution?" I was taken aback because that's not the response I was looking for. But the problem became an opportunity to grow as a leader and in turn foster leadership in others. I brought together teacher leaders from the building to reflect on what our students were experiencing. We determined that we needed clear expectations and modeled behaviors and developed a school-wide character education program called Our Tree Traits. The focus is on exhibiting respect, empathy, awareness, and perseverance, both in and out of school. Representatives from all teaching teams and instructional support personnel came together to design lesson plans, exploring each trait, and establishing the expectations for locations throughout the school. Now, staff and students could discuss how we experience empathy in the cafeteria by appreciating our food choices and those of others, or exhibiting respect in the restroom by allowing others their privacy, and how we as educators, we need to model these behaviors and expectations for our students. This work was led by teachers with our principal intentionally not present, so we could work through the problem openly and vulnerably as leaders in our own right. When it came time to present this work to the rest of the staff, the teacher leaders had such pride in the product. We had developed something tangible and purposeful that we knew would change our school for the better. This is what sold the program to our colleagues. The principal wasn't standing there with a new initiative. It was instead a group of passionate educators who were putting kids first. The staff heard the plans from someone they related to and realized, yeah, this is doable. This illustrates the point of Paolo Di Maria, our state superintendent, who says, instead of being told what to do, by utilizing teacher leaders, the teachers are saying, here is what we're asking ourselves to do, and this is why. The Liberty Tree teachers involved in this tree trait experience have now taken on new roles in both instruction and building culture. They speak up, encourage others, and have become more involved in the functions of the school because they were given the chance to lead and make a difference. And for our students, discussions with common vocabulary and clear expectations have opened up incredible opportunities to make a positive impact on our school. In a fourth grade music class, a student recognized the hard work of a fellow classmate had put into learning a piece of music, saying, he really showed perseverance when it was hard and didn't give up. And on the school bus, our fifth grade students have become leaders as they partner up with kindergarten buddies, modeling respect and empathy to the younger riders. At the end of the day, I watch as these unlikely partners walk hand in hand to the bus, talking about their day with real engagement. I had a very interesting experience this last week where I got to share about this important work. I traveled to Washington, D.C. with the other state teachers of the year. And I am one of 4 finalists for the National Teacher of the Year. As one of those finalists, I had the opportunity for a photo op with the president at the White House. I took that moment, and after our photo, I turned and said to him, I want you to know what I teach my students about is respect and empathy. And we as the adults need to model those behaviors for our students. It is time to utilize the strengths of our teacher leaders to set expectations and to make decisions based upon the needs of our individual schools. The educational leaders should also be deeply involved in discussions of policy, best practices, and initiatives in order to do what is best for kids. And in doing so, we must be sure to foster students' uniqueness as we work to meet their needs, keep them safe, and encourage them to dare greatly. We must support students with learning opportunities tailored to their preferences and specific interests. It takes teacher leaders to encourage and support our staff members to meet students where they are, to set standards, and to help them acquire knowledge. If the ways we're trying to reach our students isn't working, then we must find another way. As an art educator, I have the opportunity to open my students' eyes to the world around them and engage them in discussions about culture, identity, in our collective story. I'm able to bring their passions into their work as I support them to grow, succeed, and overcome obstacles as they seek understanding and meaning. For one such student, I believe I and the teaching leaders in my building did just that. McKenna came to us as a kindergartner, and her very first day in class, I was instantly impressed with her thoughtful conversations, her humor, and her creativity. She was with us that year because we had just opened a specialized learning center for students with autism, and we could offer her supports her homeschool could not at the time. She did so well that year, consuming knowledge, learning independence, and continuing to flourish in my art room. Because of her successes, she was re-enrolled in her home school. She began to struggle because she sought to be understood, needed encouragement and connection. Not long into the year, her parents requested she return to us, where she was celebrated as an individual. Years later, she continues to make progress and develop as a learner thanks to the supports of leaders in our building. And last year, when McKenna was in the 3rd grade, I was so impressed with her innate creativity and expressive cartoon illustrations that I nominated her as gifted in the visual arts. She was identified as twice exceptional, a student with autism who is gifted in art. By taking the leap with her, this designation will follow her throughout her education and will provide unique opportunities for her to truly shine. In fact, the illustrations you've been seeing today throughout this presentation were all created by McKenna. I value her work and want to engage her to see value in herself. She's encouraged to bring her quick wit and creativity to her learning. By setting high expectations and providing her with opportunities to enrich and inspire, she is able to explore content material when before she may have only seen obstacles. Like McKenna, we need to see in all of our students something unique, someone to be valued. We need parents to know that their children are our priority. We believe in our students and set high standards for them to reach with our support. And we celebrate along with them when they reach their goals. Okay, so right now you might be saying, all right, yeah, let's do it. But where do I even begin? It all seems like too much. Well, start small. Just start small. I attribute my work as an educator to a quote from Helen Keller. I long to accomplish a great and noble task, but it is my chief duty to accomplish small tasks as if they were great and noble. Our small actions can make a huge impact for an individual child, our schools, and our communities. Becoming a teacher leader doesn't just happen overnight. There are small but purposeful steps that will make a difference every day and for every child. So maybe just start by saying hello. Greet students in the morning with a smile, with eye contact, with acceptance, and you're saying to them, I am here with you, let's do this together. Maybe it's in being a good listener. They all have stories, right? Some hilarious, some tragic, some unbelievable. And sometimes our students just need someone to say, it's okay to quietly reflect in a safe place. These forms of communication should also extend to our work with parents. Recently, I called a parent who saw the school's phone number and answered by asking, what's wrong? Well, imagine if we called our students' parents at home just to tell them about this incredibly beautiful moment that happened that day. How we are proud of their student and wanted to make sure they knew it too. Or maybe it's as simple as wearing red and standing with our colleagues in West Virginia, Arizona, Oklahoma, Kentucky, North Carolina, Colorado, and across the United States. And together, as we speak out and stand up for public education. It's funny how what we wear has such significance, isn't it? 7 years ago, I started wearing plaid shirts to work, and students noticed this. They began wearing plaid shirts on their art day too. They wore these shirts in order to match me. So I made a decision and for the past 7 years, every day, I wear plaid. It is one small way students at my school connect with me. It's something they remember about me. It is such a small act, a small decision that makes them feel included and connected to something so much bigger. I know I've talked a lot about my own experiences in my own school, but there are certainly teacher leaders throughout the state of Ohio making a difference for students in real ways and by utilizing small moments. Kara Kassler teaches at North Elementary in Licking Heights. Kara teaches English as a second language and engages her students in the practice of civil discourse as they learn to communicate with others. James Sutter is an environmental science teacher at Wellston High School. By starting with relevant local issues that have an impact on his students and their environment, he provides them with the tools to observe the world around them and then critically evaluate their observations. And Arthur Lard, a business teacher at Portsmouth High School. He teaches financial literacy, educating his students about the financial risks that could profoundly impact their futures. He encourages them to be patient and to take the time to find their own answers instead of relying on him for the solution. Not only are these teachers leaders in their classrooms, but they take on this role in their schools and their communities. The ability to lead outside the classroom must be cultivated in our teacher leaders. In our big and small ways, we need to advocate for our students and for our profession. My mentor, Penny Donahue, saw this potential in me. She was a bold, colorful, giving art educator, decked out in polka dots and bright pink overalls. She inspired our Department of Art Educators through her kindness and creativity. Penny delighted in seeing potential in everyday items that, with the power of art, could become something incredible. She waged a difficult battle with cancer that took her away from us just days after I was named Ohio Teacher of the Year. But in those final months, she gave me a gift, a small acorn charm. And she said, "You were my acorn, and I'm so proud of the tree you have become." She always had the right thing to say. She always had the right thing to say and the right gift to accompany it. May my work become a part of her legacy, to take other educators under my wing, to support them with words of encouragement and praise, to learn from them and to recognize the impact we have on our students, and to never stop caring. By taking practical steps, we can empower our teacher leaders to help meet the needs of students from all backgrounds and with all abilities. We can work to provide safe, educational environments where students can learn and are valued for who they are. Teacher leaders have the power to turn our tiny acorns into those mighty oaks, for they understand that our students will grow to make an impact on their communities, our country, and future. We must be the difference makers we want our students to become. Thank you.